All right, welcome back to our audience to another episode of Optics in Action, where we spotlight leaders with vision and clarity. And I am excited to have with us today Molly McGrath. She is the founder of Hiring and Empowering, and I'm super excited to have her on this episode to talk a little about the process and the people and the purpose of hiring and empowering, how she came to found this company. And so, Molly, I'm super excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Oh, Ryan, thank you for having me. I'm delighted and honored to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So the first thing I often like to ask guests is a little bit about your purpose, about why hiring and empowering is so important to you. And if you could share a little bit of your background, a little bit of the purpose behind why you do what you do. Why do you find it compelling?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, my company is Hiring and Empowering Solutions, and I founded in 2008. And really, what I'm most passionate about. So, we do flat fee retained search recruiting with a very unique 90-day onboarding process attached to it. And then I also have a course for admin assistants and kind of the by and large, I work in the legal space with law firms. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times supporting team members to become what I call entrepreneurs in entrepreneurs world, which is one of the books that I wrote in my passion and my why. And it's getting clearer and clearer and clearer by the day to me, is really to support employees. And you can interject any definition you want: W-2, overseas, stateside, 1099. It does not matter. Your human capital, and really I'm very, very passionate about supporting, do I dare say, just the employee, and really how to feel like they are in full control of their future. And for them to really increase their confidence, to really align that with their vision and their value of their role that they currently serve in and sit in, and really, my goal is to help them become to walk, talk, act, and behave like a CEO, even if you're just a receptionist or you're a VA. I have probably 150 VAs in the Philippines that are in my program that I coach personally, and they walk and talk and act and behave and project manage their day, their workflow, and what have you, a hell of a lot better than most CEOs that are making seven figures.
Oh, I will tell you something. I don't know if you know this about me, but I lived in the Philippines for 3 years, and our youngest daughter was actually born while we lived there. So my wife and I have
Oh,
been married for 25 years, but we
congratulations.
lived there for 3 years, and the team there is
Oh,
are the people that we have there are just amazing people.
yes.
They're gracious and excited and just
Eager,
supportive, eager.
hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of these
Lifetime
things.
learners. They love it.
Absolutely. So we have some amazing people there. And so I love that you've got that passion for the employees because
Mhm.
I think so much we're learning there's so much new technology, AI and all these automations and things that are really changing the way we work. But at the end of the day, process and technology is really only useful to the extent that it helps people to do something more efficiently and effectively. Without people, what do you really have and why are you really doing it? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love that you bring AI in it, and it's really changing the way we work, but it will never replace the way or how we serve. And so for so often, whether you have a product or you have a service, if you're an e-com or what have you, you still need, and that's the way that you're always going to be the game changer and stand out, especially if you're leaning heavily on technology. Because if you actually have a phone number that someone can call, or you actually have people that have a process, it'll pick up the phone and proactively contact you, people will become lifetime clients. Because so many, I don't know about you, but I feel like anything that I buy, a piece of technology, a service, or what have you, the first thing I do is like, where's a contact button? Is there a phone number? Is there someone I could call when I'm jammed up or stuck or frustrated, even if it's user error? Like, if I cannot talk to anyone, I'm not buying from you, and I'll go pay 15 to 500% more to the guy or gal that has a number and has customer service embedded within their values, their culture, and their customer service.
Yeah, that's a fantastic perspective. So when you think about, so I love the why. It's all about the employees and it's all about impacting them and making a positive impact.
Mhm.
What do you do? So what differentiates you when you've talked a little bit about the book you wrote and the training and some of that. What are some of the things that you feel really set you apart and set hiring and empowering apart in terms of what you do?
Well, I think number one that sets me apart is that I actually sat in the seat as a receptionist. So I started my career when I was 27 years old, dropped out of college, and didn't have a college education, what have you, and now have owned, sold, 9 businesses, right? And so now this
Wow.
is my baby, and I have one, and so I am proof of concept for all of them. I'm not training them to be entrepreneurs, what
Mhm.
have you. That is not my goal and my mission, but I can speak the language of the receptionist that is sitting there, whether stateside or what have you, and is getting more work dumped on them than they have the capacity to, and how to have the conversation about project management, focus management, time management. Most employees are picking from their past and coming from their trauma. The message that most employees get is you're lucky to have a job, show up and do what you're told, and you'll be rewarded with a paycheck at the end of the day. That's the only
Mm.
value you bring. But then I have entrepreneurs who are constantly say to me, everybody's delegating back up. I give an assignment, nobody does it, blah, 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 all the complaining. And, my latest book that I launched in June of 2023, it's called Fix My Boss, the simple plan to cultivate respect, risk courageous conversations, and increase the bottom line. I first had the book written as Fix My Employees. And through the
Mm.
process and through, because I'd hear all the time, I have entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, 6-figure companies, doesn't matter, calling me. And the number one thing that they say is fix my employees. Can you fix my employees? So I did that. And it's interesting because I'm like, no employee is going to pick up this book. But a book that says fix my boss and my publishers, like I can just envision someone running through the airport and they see this book and the boss is going to pick it up because he's going to be like, he or she is going to be like, crap, what is this person telling my people? And the people are going to pick it up, the employees, because they're going to be like, finally, someone gets us, someone's got our back. And the message is the same to both. It's about to get you all on the same playing field to speak the same language in a way that makes a difference for the end goal for you personally and for the goal for the company ultimately.
Yeah. That's a really great perspective to think about, not just from a marketing standpoint. I love the concept of, how are you going to get people to buy your book? It's the right title and it makes sense. But also the messaging that, as entrepreneurs, as bosses, there's things that we're doing wrong that are creating behaviors in the employees that we may not like. So I love the perspective that you shared about that. It's really, really clever. So another question. So I often talk about people and process, aligning people and process to fulfill a purpose. And so as you think about the people that you're impacting, from the entrepreneur, the CEO, the receptionist, everybody,
In
everyone along
between.
that whole chain, it sounds like you're making an impact to everyone in an organization. What's your process for doing that? Do you have a kind of a process that you use? I don't know, 3-step or 7-step, or are there sort of things that you go through in terms of process to enable the people to be more successful?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a 12-week boot camp that everybody comes through at the same time. It's really fascinating because I love that your mission statement is aligning people with process. So my program is for employees, and again, insert W-2 1099,
Mhm.
but it's for the people, but not the entrepreneur. And they'll say, "Oh my God, What are you going to be teaching them? What are you telling them? How am I going to know what you're telling them is working, that I'm getting an ROI on this? I'm like, stop. You're going to know in week one. Because to your point, that's exactly what I teach them is that. So first, step one, the biggest complaint from any employee is that I don't have a job description. I don't know if my job description is working, it's failing. And we start there. Well, we start with mindset. So we start with getting them out of entitlement mentality. And then so I walk a lot through their mindset. And then I walk them through of really how to become creators and the creators of the process and production. So many people talk about SOPs and process and systems. If I get one more Facebook ad that says process and systems, and I'm like, stop it. Like, processes don't mean a hill of beans if you don't have the people in the production on it. So I love your mission because it is the people, the process, and the production, which impacts profitability. And to my knowledge, there's no other formula that, as you know, that's what you teach. So I work employee side. And I work on their job descriptions. They'll say to them, well, they'll come, first, second, third week, I think they come with their job description. I'm like, that's not a job description. It's a job ad that you applied to. Like, and then they'll complain about all the tasks and the overdue tasks or what have you. I'm like, your tasks and your projects are your job description in motion. So if you're frustrated by all these tasks and extra things that are getting dumped on your desk, it means you are out of alignment with your job description. And your job description is out of alignment with your focus management. And your focus management is out of alignment with your KPIs. And that's another word that's flying around like feathers, like key performance indicators. How do you know if you are royally sucking or crushing it on every hour, every day? So I give them a framework for really anchoring to the top 3 revenue producing activities that they do, right down to the graphic designer in Philippines working 2 hours a week, right down to the receptionist who's making $15 an hour. Everybody's a revenue producer in the business, and it anchors to the process in regards to it. So I have them do a time tracking exercise, everybody, including the entrepreneur, CEO, everyone. That's a non-negotiable, where everybody is tracking everything they touch for 5 days, 1 solid week. That's it. And I have them put that in there, upload it, and send it to me. That's my fun thing. It's like a jigsaw puzzle on the day after Christmas with a cup of Bailey's where you could just sit there. I love it. I
Oh,
dump
I
it out.
love it. Yeah.
I did love it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 15 minutes in. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. No wonder you're not making money. And you all are like, everything's a dumpster fire over there. It's clear as day. And as you know, as a process person, you're like, holy moly, the fact that you guys are making money, this is magic, because wait until you get this stuff in alignment. So I really put it on the employee, and I train them to don't ask, tell, and to never come to with a problem without a proposed solution. Never, ever, ever can you ask a question without a proposed solution. If you can show that you're a critical thinker, that you've done the math, that you've walked through every opportunity, every bottleneck and what have you, one of the greatest things I teach in that program is the answers in the room. Stop going to your boss and your supervisors and your team asking questions. If you had a gun to your head and you had to give the answer, what do you think it would be? Because the receptionist knows more than the CEO or the CFO.
Yeah, 100%. I love the concepts that you're laying out there. To your point, the realization that I had a number of years ago. My degrees are in chemistry and finance, so you can imagine the process geek part of me that's just like, I
Yes,
came out of college going, I'm going to solve the world's problems with process, right? With figuring out process solutions and all these things.
I love that.
And and then I hit the real world and I started looking at it and saying, process is only valuable to the extent that it enables people
Oh,
to do
thank you.
something, right?
Thank
So,
you.
so this is
Thank
the
you.
intersection of people and process. I say process without people is wasted. And the corollary to that is that people without process get frustrated. It's like one without the other just doesn't work well. And when you marry those two together, absolute magic can happen. You fulfill purpose, you get production, you
I
drive all
literally
kinds of
have
improvement.
goosebumps. I think I found my work soulmate, Ryan. Like I had this conversation today and cut me off, but with one of my clients, and they're like, we were talking about process or what have you. They go, yeah, we're doing EOS. I love EOS, by the way, huge disclaimer. I'm like, fantastic. Talk to me. They're bitching about, can I swear? Can I say something
Sure.
like that? They're complaining about, you cut that out. They were complaining about an employer or something. Again, going back to people, but then they're really talking about process or what have you. And I'm like, wait, whoa, wait, what about the accountability chart? They're like, what? Like, you're not following the EOS process. Like it's a process. It's
Yeah.
worth every penny that you pay for it. Any process that you pay for, to your point, it's just like technology. This CRM's a piece of junk. We're not doing this. We're migrating to this and that and what have you. I'm like, really? Like where's
Yeah.
your workflow within over your CRM? They're like, oh, that's not a workflow. A
Yeah.
workflow is another word for a process in motion. And it is
Yeah.
safe. Like it's, yeah, I
And this
love
is,
that.
yeah, one of the things, and one of the things in the EOS and traction, it's get your process documented and followed by all. And I think,
Yes.
so many times people are like, well, yeah, we have documented processes. Does anybody follow them? And I've seen binders like back in the old days, binders full. Today, it's like everybody has these SharePoints with like
Oh my
thousands of
goodness.
documents and old versions and new versions and revisions and all this stuff. And it's like, does anybody follow the process? Well, we would follow the process if dot 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 fill in the blank. And process is only useful to the point that it enables people to do something more effectively, efficiently. And so when it says get your process documented and followed by all,
I
if
love
you
that.
don't do the second part of that, don't waste your time. Don't
Right.
waste your time. If you're not making processes that are easy for people to follow, that they want to follow, that they actually will follow, don't waste your time. And it's true about organizations of all sizes. So
And
um
when are you you should be auditing your processes every day. Like bringing back the AI conversation. I attended a full day AI event last week and I loved it because it brought me to this process and SOPs conversation because I'm like, you spend time, there's many people that still have the binder, have the SharePoints, have all the things and what have you. But if you're auditing it every single week in your weekly stakeholders meeting, another thing I train where the intake team is auditing it, where can we have process improvement, continual
mm,
improvement, like the Kaizen way, and
yeah,
really be making certain that we're efficient and effective, which is going to impact overhead decrease, increase profitability, increase your team members because you bring an idea to them and say, why are we still sending draft documents to clients via FedEx or snail mail and what have you? Like there's really truly law firms that I work with that do that. I'm like, what is going
yeah,
on here? And so, yeah, to your point, so it's documented, it's followed by all, but are we constantly looking at it and asking ourselves the powerful question, is this the quickest, fastest, most efficient, profitable way that still works today? And what we're doing today isn't even going to be the same process 30 days from now. 2 millimeter
right.
shifts, 2 millimeter shifts in each department.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, it has been a pleasure talking to you so far. There's so much more I can learn. I've got to find out about your most recent book. I've got to find that book and get a copy of it to read it. I haven't uh that sounds like a great book for me to read and probably distribute to my team as well. I've got a number of folks in the Philippines and
Good
I'm
for
sure that
you.
I'm going to get some great insights from it. So
Oh,
yeah, so thank you very much, Molly, for
yes.
being on this
Thank
episode of
you.
Optics in Action, where we spotlight leaders with vision and clarity. And how can people find out more about you? How do they find your book, or how do they connect with you if they're listening or watching online right now?
Absolutely. And thank you again for having me. I think the easiest way is go to my website, hiringandempowering.com. On there, you can see a link for our books. If there's any that I have many free PDF download books, the Employee Playbook, Entrepreneurs in Entrepreneurs World, or you can buy the latest version, Fix My Boss, and just opt in if you want. There's a contact page if you want to schedule a complimentary call, or subscribe to our weekly blog on Tuesdays or Thursdays and our weekly podcast on Tuesdays.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being on, Molly. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Keep up the amazing work.